Very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News here on TV1. My name is Devi Paldano. Now, before we head into your stories in more detail, let's first take a look at your headlines.
Another discussion on UNP's presidential candidate gets underway in Temple Trees. Postal voting for LPTA Pradeshiya Sabha tomorrow. Railway employees launch a trade union action.
Onto your local news now. The general public have been severely inconvenienced by the strike action launched by the railway employees.
Several railway unions have been on strike since midnight yesterday over demands including salary anomalies. Employees of several trade unions, including station masters, drivers, controllers, regulators, have joined the strike. The railway department states that only 6 office trains have started their journey towards Colombo Fort. General Manager of Railways Dilanta Fernando said the trains will operate from Chilao, Galle, Kandy and Kurunegala to Colombo Fort. He added that all of the office trains have been cancelled.
Meanwhile, our Newsfirst team visited several railway stations across the country to inspect the situation.
All scheduled trains in the morning from the Colombo Fort were cancelled. However, our correspondent said several trains arrived at the Colombo Fort railway station. The train, which was scheduled to arrive at the Kurunegala railway station at 5:35 am, was cancelled. As a result, the train scheduled to arrive at 6:20 am from Kurunegala to Colombo Fort was rescheduled to 5:35 am. The train was also failed to stop at the platform due to a signal failure. The train bound from Kandy to Mathura at 5 am today was also cancelled. However, our correspondent noted a train from Kandy to Colombo operated at 5:30 am. The Sagarika train scheduled from Mathura to Colombo Fort at 5 am was also cancelled. Our correspondent also noted the Rohunu Kumari scheduled at 6 am and the Galu Kumari scheduled at 6 am and 12 pm were cancelled. The train scheduled from Putlam to Colombo Fort at 4:50 am was also cancelled. Several train journeys scheduled from Billy at the railway station this morning were cancelled and service carriages were sealed.
Meanwhile, those who joined the teacher-principal strike action are protesting opposite the Fort railway station in Colombo.
The protesters are engaging in the protest while blocking one lane opposite the Fort railway station. Our correspondent said the Lotus Road in Colombo has been closed due to the ongoing protest.
Newsfirst correspondents say that the academic activities of these schools have been hampered by the teachers and principals' trade union action. The trade union action is based on several demands, including the issue of salary anomalies.
Ceylon Teachers Union Secretary Joseph Stalin said they have also dropped out of the GCE Advanced Level Examination evaluation. Newsfirst inquired with the Examination Commissioner General Sanat P. Pujita about their withdrawal from the examination evaluation. He said that he had not been informed of the strike action. The Commissioner General of Examination stated, due to this, the evaluation process will be carried out as usual. This is the situation at schools across the country. Limited number of teachers reported to work at Ashoka College, Gautami Balika College and Sangamita Balika College. A low number of students attended the schools today. The activities at schools in Gampa were altered as teachers did not report to work. Our correspondent said Kirindivita Gamunu Primary Vidyalaya, Kiribadgoda Gamini Primary Vidyalaya and Galagitiawa Vidyalaya were closed. Student attendance at several schools including Yashodhara Balika College was also low. Activities at Kotikawat Rajasingha Vidyalaya, Soma Devi Vidyalaya, Kolannava Balika Vidyalaya came to a standstill as teachers failed to report to work. Student attendance was also reported low.
Now, another meeting about the presidential election candidate of the United National Party is currently underway at the Temple Trees. Several UNP MPs and ministers were seen entering the Temple Trees to attend the meeting. Meanwhile, the Working Committee of the United National Party will convene at 3 p.m. at the Sirikota headquarters today. A final decision with regard to the UMP presidential candidate will be made during the meeting. Stay tuned to News First. We will keep you updated. Now in more local news now, postal voting for the Alpitia Pradesha Sabha election will take place tomorrow.
Deputy Elections Commissioner of Galle District K.U. Chandralal said all necessary arrangements are in place to commence the postal voting. He added that full security has been provided for this. The voters who will not be able to cast their votes will be given an extra day to cast their vote on the 4th of October. The Alpitia Pradesha Sabha election will commence on the 11th of next month.
Health officials states that the spread of dengue is likely to increase with the prevailing weather condition. Director of the National Dengue Eradication Unit, Dr. Aruna Jayasekara, said with the flooding, the mosquito breeding places could be created. 48,500 dengue patients have been reported island-wide, and the National Dengue Control Unit states the number of dengue patients has increased by 10% in comparison to the same period last year. 2 women were killed and 3 others were injured in an accident on the Southern Expressway between Lotagandua and Galingama. Police media spokesperson SP Ruan Gunasekara stated that the accident had occurred when a jeep collided with a lorry travelling from Mathura to Colombo. The injured are receiving treatment at the Nagoda, Horana and Bandaragama hospitals. People living in several parts of the country continue to suffer due to the inclement weather conditions.
Akurasa, Athurelia, Malimbada, Balakavala, Katduwa, Nadugala and Thudav areas are still inundated due to the incessant rains. Vehicular movement along these roads have also been hampered. Our correspondent said around 190 families in Modaramulla have been displaced due to the floods in the area. They are currently sheltered in Nadugala. The Mathura Kamripitia and Mathura Akurasa roads have also been inundated. The water level of the Nilbala river was at 6.42 this morning. Our correspondent said the water level in the Gin river is also receding.
On to international news now. Italian authorities in the northwestern region have closed roads and evacuated mountain huts yesterday after experts warned that part of the glacier of Mount Blanc could collapse.
According to officials, about 250,000 cubic meters of ice threatens to come down in the form of ice avalanches from the Plainfish Glacier along the Italian side of the Mont Blanc Massif after technical structures of the Safe Mountain Foundation registered an acceleration in the displacement rate of the glacier that has reached a speed of 50 to 60 centimeters per day. The mayor of Comaraya, the nearest town and a major ski resort, decided to close roads in the Valferrat on the Italian side of the Mont Blanc, and mountains huts in the Rochefort area were evacuated as precaution. According to local authorities, there was no threat to residential areas or tourist facilities, but residents have been informed of the possible scenarios in case of a collapse. The rise of global temperatures due to global warming is causing mountain glaciers to melt and the retreat of polar ice sheets. The problem is affecting the Mont Blanc Massif, Western Europe's highest mountain range, containing 11 major independent peaks, each over 4,000 meters in height.
Israel's president tasked Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday with assembling a new government after power-sharing talks with his strongest rival Benny Gantz failed following an inconclusive election.
Netanyahu, head of the right-wing Liquid Party and Israel's longest-serving leader, still has no clear path to a 5th term after emerging from September 17 ballot, the second this year, short of a parliamentary majority. President Reuven Rivlin said to Netanyahu at a nomination ceremony, I quote, "I have decided to give you, sir, the opportunity to assemble a government," unquote. He will have 28 days to form a coalition and can ask Rivlin for a 2-week extension if necessary. Netanyahu's failure to clinch victory in a ballot in April led to last week's election and left him politically weakened. In the countdown, his party has pledged the support of 55 legislators in the 120-member parliament against 54 in Gantz Centre's Blue and White Party. The two parties failed to reach a coalition deal in talks launched on Tuesday. Former Defense Minister of Israel, a possible kingmaker, has been keeping his party on the fence since September 17th ballot, citing differences with both Liquid's and Blue and White political parties.
Now, members of the US Congress have seen for the first time a whistleblower complaint against Donald Trump that has led to calls for his impeachment. One Democrat described it as disturbing, while a Republican said it was troubling. Foreign media reported that the complaint refers to a controversial phone call between Trump and the Ukrainian president. The latest development comes as the acting director of US intelligence is due to testify on the issue. Joseph Maguire's account of the complaint by an unnamed intelligence officer will be closely scrutinized when he appears before members of the House Intelligence Committee later today. The content of the complaint is still classified, but the most senior Democrat in the US Senate, Chuck Schumer, has called for its immediate release. During a news conference yesterday, President Donald Trump dismissed the impeachment proceedings as a hoax and a witch hunt. Indonesia's geophysics agency said a 6.8 magnitude earthquake hit Indonesia's East Maluku province today, causing damage to some buildings, but there has been no risk of a tsunami. A spokesperson from the agency said it was possible buildings in the area could also be damaged. Videos shared with foreign media showed concrete debris scattered around a school in Ambon. A member of staff working at the school told Reuters that no one was injured from the quake, although aftershocks were still being felt. The US Geological Survey put the magnitude at 6.5 at the quake's epicenter, just 36.9 kilometers northeast of Ambon. Indonesia, which sits on a seismically active Pacific Ring of Fire, is all too familiar with deadly earthquakes and tsunamis. In 2004, a quake off Sumatra Islands triggered a tsunami across the Indian Ocean that killed 226,000 people in 14 countries, including more than 120,000 in Indonesia. Palu, a Sulawesi island west of Maluku, was devastated by a 7.5 magnitude earthquake and a powerful tsunami it created in September of 2018. More than 4,000 people died there. On to your sports news now. The ICC's decision to suspend Zimbabwe has cost them the important tour of India next January, when they were scheduled to play a 3-match T20I series. BCCI has replaced Zimbabwe with Sri Lanka for the series, which will be played on the 5th, 7th and 10th of January.
In the wake of Zimbabwe's suspension by ICC, the BCCI invited Sri Lanka to participate in the 3-match series, the BCCI said in the media release. Guwahati, Indu and Pune have been finalized as venues for the 3 T20 international series. As per the Future Tours program, Zimbabwe were originally scheduled to play 1 test and 3 ODIs in India last March, a tour that never took place. Instead, the BCCI negotiated the T20 international series with Zimbabwe Cricket. Zimbabwe are also scheduled to play a 2-match test series at home against Sri Lanka in January next year, as per the FTP, but it is unclear whether it will take place as planned. The ICC had instructed Zimbabwe Cricket to unconditionally reinstate the board elected in June or risk termination of their membership. The ICC also said it would be discussing the suspension matter at its quarterly meeting in Dubai in October before taking any further decisions.
Well, that is a wrap of lunchtime news here on TV1. For more news, log on to our award-winning website www.newsfirst.lk. For the Newsfirst team, I'm David Paldano. Take care.